Welcome back to Next Level Pets, your home for all things related to how to live the best life you can with your pet and ultimately what to do and how to heal after your pet has left your life. So today I want to talk about a poll conducted in 2020, or a survey by OnePoll conducted in 2020 that stated that over 67% of American dog owners in this survey shared that they communicate more with their pets than they do with members of their family. So, a couple of things I want to talk about regarding this poll or this survey. So, a couple of things. One, that's a very interesting statement for pet owners to make. So, when they say that they communicate more with their animal than they do with other members of their family, I kind of glean two different things from this. In the sense where someone who owns their pets and may feel more comfortable being themselves in front of their pets, showing vulnerability, expressing stress and issues in their life. They may be feel more comfortable crying in front of their animals, being goofy, yelling, having imaginary conversations with people or in situations in their life, and they may perform and act all this out in front of their pets. And that there's that element where the comfort that we have being ourselves around our pets is expressed in that survey that over 67% of people said that no, they feel they can communicate more with their pets than they do with direct members of their family. Now, another perspective that I took from this is also kind of based on the time when the poll was conducted. That's right when the pandemic was starting. And I know for me, at least, I really identify with this because, anybody that's watched my videos knows that that's where my journey with pet grief began. After losing my mom and then my beloved cat Dublin right in the beginning of the pandemic, or lost Dublin a couple months before, and then being thrust into that crazy time in the world where a lot of us were alone. I'd lost my job and lost my mom and lost Dublin, and then I was left to pick up those pieces all by myself at home. And I know for a lot of people during the pandemic and for the following years, that was a very isolated time in their lives, especially for pet owners who only live with their pets. And I think this may be where the survey was speaking more directly to, that especially, well, just in general, anybody that shares their home and their lives with a pet. And I think that's becoming, a lot more frequent in our modern society of people, living by themselves, working from home, not really engaging in society and social activity, not being out in the public as much as, formerly used to happen in our society. So obviously those bonds of companionship with their, lack of a better description, their significant other in their home could be, their dogs, their cats, their pets, and that companionship truly compounds and builds to where that is the most important relationship that they have. I know for a long time I lived alone, and I was just had my boy Dublin, my cat, and he was everything to me. I would work and I would come home. I wasn't too social at the time. I paint, so I was at home painting a lot, and it was just me and him. So he was my world, and I shared everything with him, and when you don't have somebody else in the home, you do have conversations with your animals. You do talk to them as if they were another human, and they mean that much. That relationship really begins to develop into one of the most important, if not the most important relationship in your life, because besides what you're doing out in public, when you're at home, it's only you and your beloved pet. So, and also, I think, again, just to circle back to when this poll was conducted, really makes sense to me, because I think that really began a trajectory in our society where living by yourself and experiencing different things with your pet, it could be different traumas, it could be, maybe you lost your job, and any of the other significant life changes that we would, experience normally through our lives, job loss, human loss, if we lost a friend or a relative, if we're going through a breakup, any of these things, especially 2020 and after, for those following years, was just made that much more difficult because of everything that was going on outside of our homes. Every day was something different. So having that security, having that comfort back at home with you and your pet, is everything. I know it was for me, until I had to say goodbye to Dublin, but that was also the catalyst that, made me find resources to heal, to get through that, in which, eventually became my course, Forever in Our Hearts. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'd love to hear back from you. If you have any questions more about what I do in terms of healing, just watch some of my videos. Feel free to contact me. The link from a website will be available, or just leave a comment, and I'd love to help you out and answer any questions you may have. And tell me about, how important your pet is in your life. What do they mean to you? How do you regard them as your family? Anything like that. I'd love to hear back from you. Okay. Thank you so much.